Hey everybody, Ken Clark here. I'm out here with Marshall Shore, the hip historian.
I'm on this side of the camera tonight.
and there's nothing hip about me. So we wanted to talk about homelessness. We've done these other little videos about other things. We wanted to talk about this. And so we decided to come here, right in the middle of what I now call Roosevelt Canyon, because it's hardly a row anymore. This spot was about a year ago, homeless folks started camping out here, and they did it because they had no place else to go. There's been a huge increase in homelessness. Everybody knows about it, everyone can see it, and we want to talk about it. We want to cover just some of the reasons why it has happened, at least in my humble opinion, and what we can do about it. A couple myths. Not everybody who's homeless wants to be homeless. The vast majority of people who are homeless do not want to be homeless. There's a difference between homeless needing shelter and people who are transient and don't want to go into shelter. The vast majority, we were talking about people, veterans, people who are just don't have money, they're working poor, women who have been harmed in some way, they're trying to get out of a violent situation. Families, so many families are homeless right now. Let's talk about the history of it. When I first lived in downtown back in like 1998, that time period, they started building CAS, Central Arizona Shelter Service, which as an organization had been doing work for a long time. But the idea was to create a homeless campus where people could come in and get access to all kinds of services. Well, that's a great idea unless the money dries up and there's a big influx of homelessness. And that was happening over the last 10 years for a couple reasons. One reason, rents started going up. Another reason, and that's what we're going to talk about specifically here, the Arizona legislature failed in its job to continue to fund housing, and that's what I want to talk about. So come on over here. I want to show you. I'm kind of wishing, I'm going too fast for this camera. I got a gimbal and it's just a mess. Anyway, I wish I could be like Robert Reich and like have all these cool like whiteboard demonstrations, but I'm the poor man's Robert Reich. So this is what you're going to get. I want to talk about where money comes from for housing. So Arizona has a Department of Housing, and it's been operating for a long time. Its funding, or some funding for homelessness, used to come from, or still comes from, what's called this, the Unclaimed Property Fund. So if somebody gets like a return refund from the state Department of Revenue, and they never cash it, it goes into this Unclaimed Property Fund. All kinds of things. For years and years, it's always been there. So as per state law, a percentage of that has gone to what's called the Housing Trust Fund, okay? And that Housing Trust Fund is used by the Department of Housing. And they mix it with like federal funds, and they cooperate with counties and cities and private contracts, and they put that money to good use to try and house people. Well, back in 2008, we got $20 million that came from the Unclaimed Property Fund into the Department of Housing. What do you think that is this last year? $1 million. This is terrible, my writing's awful, but it's $1 million, folks. There is a direct connection to how much we spent more than 10 years ago to house the homeless and where they go now, right? So all these other factors, this is huge. And if we're gonna solve it, the legislature needs to step up. Now, it's really great. Senator Leila Alston's been doing a lot of work. She and I were working last year on this. There are a few Republican members who are starting to now understand that this is not a problem that goes away if you just, say, well, we're not going to fund it anymore. So if we fund this and we focus on what's called dispersed housing, as in not warehousing everybody down on Jackson Street, we can get them what are called the wraparound services that they need. Okay, following? So your question is, what am I supposed to do about this? Two things immediately. Go to azledge.gov, and you're going to find your legislator, your senator, and your 2 House members, and you're going to say to them, restore the funding for the Housing Trust Fund, and do it this year. $20 million is what we really need, because we've not been funding it for years. And you can also go to CAS-AZ, that's Central Arizona Shelter Service AZ.org, and throw them a few dollars. They are doing so much work to try to take care of people who are in desperate need. So that's our public issue for the day. Please leave your comments, and please let us know what you think we should cover in the future. Thank you, Marshall, for being on the camera.
Thank you, Ken.
You guys have a great day.